19 countries have pulled out of World Cup as UEFA threatened Gianni Infantino boycott. UEFA are threatening to boycott the World Cup if Gianni Infantino goes forward with his plans to sell off part of FIFA. The governing body's president is considering selling shares to private investors to create a £15 billion, 20 BN subsidiary. UEFA will hold an emergency meeting at 2 p.m. today to ward off FIFA's attempt to launch a new commercial company with outside investment. Infantino wants to sell off more than 20% of the FIFA Forward Enterprise and raise 3.16 BN for 2 BN.
Wet boots ruining your mornings? This silent, fanless dryer gently dries boots, shoes, and gloves overnight while helping reduce damp odors, so your gear is ready when you are. Want to get the best verified deal and see full details? Visit grabdeal.us/4 right now.
It is reported that these plans were not raised during meetings with football associations in New York the night before the World Cup final. UEFA said in a statement, "This crosses a line that football's governing institutions should never cross. So should every national football association. So should every stakeholder, leagues, clubs, players, supporters, governments, and everyone who cares about the future of the game. The soul and governance of football are not assets to trade, especially with zero transparency as to who gains financially. None of us are the owners of football. It is not FIFA's to sell." In the wake of this, Mirror Football examines previous occasions when nations have withdrawn from the World Cup. The reigning world champions were due to head to the second edition of the tournament in 1934, having triumphed 4 years earlier. However, they withdrew in protest after several European sides refused to travel to South America for the 1930 World Cup in Uruguay. The 1934 World Cup remains the only edition where the defending champions failed to take part. Among the favorites heading into the 1938 tournament, Austria were unable to compete after Nazi forces annexed the nation at the time. Several Austrian stars joined up with the German squad, though standout player Matthias Sindelar refused to represent the Nazi-led side. On the sole occasion India reached the World Cup, they chose not to attend. In 1950, the Asian nation progressed to the finals by default following withdrawals during qualifying. Their absence was attributed to travel costs, training time, and squad selection difficulties. The 1966 tournament holds fond memories for England, but one often overlooked element is the absence of African nations. The continent's teams boycotted the qualifying stages in protest against FIFA's decision to grant just one place for the African, Asian, and Oceania confederations combined. These nations include Algeria, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Gabon, Ghana, Guinea, Liberia, Libya, Mali, Morocco, Nigeria, Senegal, Sudan, Tunisia, and the United Arab Republic, now called Egypt. In 1974, the world watched as a qualified nation came close to boycotting the World Cup on political grounds. During the intercontinental playoff between Chile and the Soviet Union, the latter refused to participate in the fixture in protest against Augusto Pinochet's dictatorship. Pinochet had overthrown the socialist government, turning Chile from a former Soviet ally into an enemy. As a result, the Chilean players took to the pitch alone, with captain Francisco Valdés scoring into an empty net before the match was abandoned. In more recent times, outright boycott threats have been few and far between, though tensions did surface during the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. All 32 qualified nations took part in the tournament, yet some players staged demonstrations concerning alleged human rights abuses and the host nation's controversial stance on LGBT rights. Captains from 7 European nations, England, Wales, the Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark, Germany, and Switzerland, had planned to wear One Love armbands promoting inclusivity. They abandoned the plan just hours before their matches after FIFA threatened to issue automatic yellow cards to any player wearing the unauthorized armband. Meanwhile, in March this year ahead of the 2026 World Cup, following escalating regional conflict and U.S.-Israeli airstrikes, Iranian sports minister Ahmed Daniamali publicly declared that the national team would not participate in the tournament under any circumstances. However, Iran did not officially withdraw and instead petitioned FIFA to have their matches relocated to co-host nation Mexico. This request was rejected, and Iran ultimately played in the tournament, although they were subject to travel restrictions and were forced to travel in and out of the USA on the day of each match. Sky has upgraded its Ultimate TV and Sky Sports bundle to now include HBO Max, Netflix, Disney+, Discovery+, and Hayu, as well as 135 channels and full Sky coverage of the Premier League and EFL. Sky broadcasts more than 1,400 live matches across the Premier League, EFL, and more, with at least 215 live from the top flight alongside Formula One, darts, and golf.